Behold, a cold open. Hey, Joe, I've been wondering, have you been muttering any insane shit to your nearly 1-year-old son lately?
Yeah, have I been preparing him for a prestige class? I have. My new thing is when I make him breakfast, which is, to be clear, one of the highlights of my day because I immediately get to wake up and do something important.
Yeah.
He's really into bananas. And you know the Yu-Gi-Oh theme song, which is just like duel.
It's time to duel. It's the best part. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make sure he gets into good colleges, all of them.
Yeah, this is the meta to childhood brain development you discovered.
Yeah, he's a big fan of when I cut up his banana in the morning and I go banana. It's very stupid. The first time I did it, I made myself laugh, which meant it was so stupid that it caught me off guard.
That is incredible.
That is the empty mind. Like, there's always a part in every martial artist thing where it's like, you must kick without thinking of kicking. You must have the empty mind. And, like, that was it. Like, when I make myself laugh, it's because I goofed with the empty mind.
I'm making a new fucking Disco Elysium-like game after our Deadwood demo, and there's a joke in there that I did that to myself with. I wrote it out. I originally wrote it in a Discord message to you as we were discussing a possible route that the plot could go down. And I wrote it out and I fucking laughed out loud because I couldn't believe that I had put those words down. It's really, that's what it's all about. And Joe, I tell you, when you told me about banana, that's the funniest fucking. Anyone who's out there being like, you should say bubba banana. It's like,
no, absolutely not. Also, if you think that, you're like a bad parent. Like, you don't get it.
Bad dad. It's the same as yelling. It's like, honestly, it's like when an adult is like, I have trust issues because my parent yelled. It's the same thing. So like an adult would be like, I've never found a joke funny because my dad said bubba banana instead of da banana. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Anime Sickos. It's the podcast for geniuses and the only podcast where we take a look at the 4 pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. It occurs to me that this is going to come out post-election. We're recording it pre-election, so hope the vibe's not very different.
I don't know, just imagine we're frowning or not.
It's going to be so funny. How, like, it's like 52% chance likely that fucking RFK Jr. is going to decide, like, what medicine is legal. Like, it's probably going to be how the country works.
It rules that CNN lady, like, I have to fuck you. Like, I love your Crash Bandicoot body.
The way that you struggle to say a single word is so incredible to me.
But I think there's actually just Kennedy Riz inherently, because JFK himself was like, he had like a fucked up spine from a bad surgery. Like he was compromised, and he was still obviously like the ladies' man. So maybe it's just like a genetic thing.
I mean, I remember hearing in like fucking grade school history class about like, oh yes, John F. Kennedy, he was such like a youthful president, and he was really helped by televised debates because Nixon was a fucking sweaty freak and he was a suave young hunk. And then you see pictures of him and he's like fucking hideous. Like he looks like he was like whittled.
He had a spine surgery that was such a failure that like he just had like a gaping spine wound forever. Like it's just something really weird to be walking around with while also like pulling insane ass, I guess.
Also, this is oh man, I really am like, there's a lot of things that I would hate about a Trump presidency, which might be occurring
like the basic
now.
premise.
Yes,
yeah.
But that Elon is going to be put in charge of like any decision making is fucking. He is Oh, man.
How is he not Buggy the Clown? He's Buggy the Clown.
He's fucking Buggy the Clown, dude. He's 1,000% Buggy the Clown. He has discovered the crime meta, which is like the bigger a crime you do, the longer it takes to put together a case and then prosecute that case. And so like he realized that like the thing to do is just be like, probably by the time any of this gets a consequence, I'll have died from old age. So like giving people $1 million to vote for Trump, which is incredibly illegal. It's like, yeah, well, like when do you think that's gonna fucking come up in my life as a problem? Like in 2037?
Must have been like Merrick Garland, whatever. They sent him a letter that was amazing. It was like, hey, it was the most toothless thing. It was just like, we have reason to believe that your offering of millions of dollars for votes may in fact not be chill. Anyway, let us know if you agree.
Yeah. But also, now is what I transition into. Maybe here's a good thing that's happening. So have you heard about this? We're selling a shirt at animesickos.com/store. It's a great shirt with art by Brandon B. of the 4 Pillars of Modern Misery, done very pleasantly. It's on a delightful Bella and Canvas brand gray shirt with a lovely art. You can get it at animesickos.com/store. And it's only going to be on sale until the end of this week, Friday, November 8th. Let me make sure that's the right day. Yes, it is. So yeah, you buy that shirt.
Also, like, will there ever be a reprint? What we're going to do is we're actually going to break the computer the original image is on.
Yeah.
Like, we're just going to fucking set it on fire.
We did not back it up on purpose. Dropbox, hell no. The cloud, the only cloud I care about, knows Omni/. So Joe, here's the thing. I saw a post a while ago. The original post had to do with Blue Sky had a huge influx, like a massive, like their most ever in a single wave influx of new users on account of I forget even
everything you post is AI food. Like it's just like. By agreeing to continue to exist on this site, like everything you do will be scraped. If you're just like shit posting, that's less of a concern. But if you're like a visual artist, obviously that's like a deal breaker.
Yeah. And also, like, I believe it was something like, it used to be that when you blocked someone, they could not see your posts. And now I think...
Oh, that too.
Yeah, now I think when you block someone, Elon commandeers all the Ring cameras in the world to take pictures of your feet as you're walking by and then sends those pictures to all your stalkers. So that's not good. So people don't like that.
I'm really unclear on the blocking thing. I mean, I understand what he's trying to do and why it's bad, but like my understanding is like there's like built-in sort of regulatory expectations for like what blocking is on an app that like allows apps to be listed.
I think, dude, he's doing the meta again, which is just like commit a huge crime.
Yes, because by the time they get around to addressing this, he will be in charge of government waste.
Yeah, and they'll be like, the fucking regulatory arm that enforces these regulations is governmentally wasteful, and I have dissolved you, and you no longer... Oh, Jesus Christ, this is too real. Anyway, the Mountain Goats said some post about, like, the difference between... The reason why so many people come here is because it's fun. It's good to be fun. Twitter wasn't...
You mean on Blue Sky?
Yeah, Blue Sky. It's fun here, and Twitter wasn't fun. And we had an incredible response by cartoonist Trung Le Nguyen. He says this: "It's genuinely amazing how the tenor of shitposts changes when people aren't worried about the basics of the platform constantly. And now I need someone to draw me a posting hierarchy of needs." We're someone.
Yeah, we're that. We're doing it. Thanks for doing an episode for us.
Yeah, it was a free fucking concept. And you might be thinking, what's the hierarchy of needs? If you aren't aware and if you haven't taken basic fucking whatever class they teach this in. They teach it in one of them. There was a guy named Maslow from the past. You heard of the past? Well, that's where he lived.
He was a pharaoh. He was in pyramids.
Yes, he was a pharaoh from Egypt because he built an incredible pyramid.
Of self-care.
Yes. I will read you his pyramid from bottom to top.
The idea is that the things at the bottom of the pyramid are essential, more primal, and you need those things in place before you move up the pyramid. Like, you can't be worrying about your creative endeavors if you don't have a fucking house.
Yes, exactly. And it's just like a normal pyramid, because if you took the bottom part of the pyramid away, that shit would fall down.
Yeah, but it'd be fine because it lands on sand.
I guess it would just become a smaller pyramid.
Yeah,
this guy's
it'll be a thump.
Yeah, this guy's dumb as shit. This entire metaphor doesn't work. Did you see the post about how the pyramid is opening up and the end of the world is activated?
All of the pyramid?
The post just indicated the pyramid, and then there was an animated GIF of a pyramid from Egypt, and it was as though it was constructed from panels which were expanding away from each other, and light was pouring from the space between.
I did not see that. I did see a video showing that giants built the pyramid.
They did do that.
And it's just like, fucking duh. I don't need a computer to tell me that.
Some people tried to say that video of the giants building the pyramids was AI generated, but that does not. Even if that's true, it doesn't mean anything, because as we've discussed before, the AI is a giant's mind. Like, they trapped a giant in the computer, and so like that's giant brain. That's like his sense memories from when he had a body, was building pyramids, which are now open. That was real. Anyway, I'll read. Yeah. This is the non-joke version. The bottom level is physiological needs. This is like air, water, food, clothing, a house, being able to go to sleep. Again, if you don't have these things, you are a dead guy. Hence, they're at the bottom. Next up is safety and security. That's your health, your employment, property, not being a social pariah. Next up is love and belonging. That's your friends, your family, a sense of connection. Someone you can depend on and like share with. Next up from that is self-esteem. That sort of goes without saying. And then the top of the pyramid, this is what you need. If everything else in your life is great, this is the last thing you need, which is a self-actualization, sort of becoming the person you want to be and are supposed to be. That's a lovely pyramid, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense intuitively.
Yeah.
Self-actualization cannot occur if you have a very hungry tummy.
Yeah. If you have no friends, you cannot become the person that you want to be, because you'll be a lonely guy. And as good as that pyramid is, it actually looks like shit, because we're about to make a much better pyramid that is the hierarchy of posting needs. We're still going to call it Maslow's hierarchy of posts, even though there's no... I don't even think he's like a guy. I think it was made up. I think it's just a funny word to put in
like
front
Einstein?
of... Yeah. It's just a funny word to put in front of hierarchy, in the way that, as you say, Einstein is a funny word to brand your AI offerings with. So let's go ahead and say... We'll start with the base, just like the original. And the base posting need... Joe, can you read that for me? What is the most basic, most essential need for posting?
The most essential need for posting, the bottom of the pyramid, is this shit is not going to go away. What do I mean by that?
Co-host went away.
Co-host went away. As a poster, you cannot be thinking about posts. If the thing you're posting on is maybe going to go away or get shittier. And this is why. It's the site, the platform, should never be the one that makes you stop posting. Mm-hmm. You have to stop on your own terms. So, like, if you're posting on a site and it, say Twitter, and it engulfs in insanity and becomes shitty or whatever, you have been forced to stop posting. And that is a violation of your rights.
Yes. Basic human rights. This is not like the Constitution says. Like, no. If you are a living person...
No, this is real.
Yes, if you are a human soul, a miracle living on this earth, you have the right to, at any time you wish, go online and fucking post some bullshit. And if you have that taken away from you, that's like... I mean, to me, that is the same as, like... someone causing a famine, you know, like the bottom of the pyramid is gone and you're fucking fucked.
You know what it feels like to, honestly, I just had this happen this past week. Our garbage didn't get picked up, and it was just like, obviously that sucks, because I got to put more garbage in the bins, but like there's garbage in there already. And that's legit what it felt like when like I wasn't really posting on Twitter because I didn't like it, and also like it's just Planet Genocide nonstop. But that's what it felt like. Like it's like I was backed up. Like I had things I needed to put places out on the curb, but I could not do it.
I was thinking it would be funny to have like a sketch or a bit where a guy thinks that if they don't pick up the trash, then you have to keep it. It's like it's like they returned it. Like they're like, we're not gonna pick this up, and it's like, now I have to keep it in my house. It's mine now.
The guys at the dump said, this is too fucked, and I gotta send it back.
So yeah, the bottom pyramid, the shit can't go away. And that's kind of why, even though we have like a Tumblr account, technically an Anime Sickos Tumblr, and even though we have far and away our most viral thing we've ever done on that account, nothing about, like, I feel nothing about Tumblr, and I cannot make myself invest in it. Because, man, talk about something that feels like it's about to go away. I'm shocked.
It already did, though.
Yes, exactly. Like, I'm shocked it's even online. The fact that it's not a 404 is incredible to me. And I think that the day that is true is fast approaching. And that's also what, like, you know, even Blue Sky, which is, like, trying to be the new thing. I don't know. It had that thing where like they were like, we are proud to announce that like crypto Bitcoin industries is a major fucking investor in Blue Sky. I'm just like, oh fuck. Feels like the base of the pyramid's getting shaky again.
Yeah, but the key point here is like you must have ground underneath you.
Yeah, exactly. If the website feels like it ain't gonna stay, posting is not gonna happen today.
Let's use a gaming analogy. Why would you put more time into an MMO that's gonna have its servers sunset?
Exactly. Yes, that is perfect. Nothing more to say about that. That's the final word on this tier of the pyramid. The next lowest. So this is really close in terms of like, this is just like a basic like need that like if this is not there, like nothing can possibly work. It's just a little bit less generalized than the shit has to stay there, which is it cannot be a Nazi site.
It just can't be a Nazi site. It just can't.
And the reason that it's just different from the previous tier at all is that like the previous one is purely about logistics with no value judgment. Like, is the website stable? Twitter is stable, I guess. It seemed, I mean, like the time where it was like, is it gonna fucking crash? That has passed and it didn't crash. So like that tier is secure, but it's a Nazi site. So like, okay, just because it's structurally stable, it is like unstable in the sense of usability. Because I don't like this.
Yeah. I mean, this is also, we've talked about this before, but the specific choice to put verified posts at the top and do not say, you can get a fucking Twitter extension that changes it. So it's like shut up. Do not make me download an extension or search for one. By putting the verified stuff at the top, like it's just like there's always going to be Nazi posts under anything.
Yeah.
Like you're guaranteed to see that. The other flavor that is also disconcerting is to see a reply about something. The content of the post is at the top and not Nazi, but like the username is like so fucking clear.
Oh yeah, yes. It's like 1488 Pinkie Pie, and there's like a Nazi pony there.
Yeah.
It's so fucked because like, I don't know. There's always Nazis on Twitter, but like it wasn't a Nazi site. But like it is fully a Nazi site. I mean, there's an argument to be made that like the Republican Party, of which, you know, fully a third or more of all Americans is ride or die forever for, is indistinguishable from the Nazi Party. And thus, like any place you go is going to be 1/3 Nazis at least. But like you might go to a place that has like a fucking fascist sympathizer there, but he's not going to like say anything about it.
You also have to think in terms of like ratio and proportion, because it's there was an amount of people on Twitter and then many of them left because it sucked. So the people who were left were a bigger slice of the pie, thus making it more of a, like you see.
Yep. Yeah. It's quite bad.
So I guess there's two elements to that. It's like, actively encouraging this type of behavior, which is bad, and then there's chasing away normal people.
Yes. And we're getting to that point where like Twitter is the theoretical bar in that old phrase, which is something to the effect of, if there are Nazis hanging out at your bar, you have a Nazi bar.
You have a Nazi bar. Yeah.
And that's can't be a Nazi. You can't post on a Nazi site. This is why we have like fucking sputtered out on Twitter, because I mean, we're like, oh, it's stable. We have the base of the pyramid, and like we're getting cracks in the foundation now, folks, and it just is not good.
Do you remember? This was still when Twitter Jack owned it, but like there was that concerted like effort. It's like, Jack, ban the Nazis. And the thing is, compared to what was happening now, like he basically was.
Yeah, God, that's so sad to think that the fucking limp-dicked, totally kowtowing to evil approach that Twitter Jack took is light years ahead.
Yeah, it was like a little forward thinking.
Yeah, I mean, like every once in a while, someone would get banned for evil, which like now just doesn't happen. Like, I mean, case in point, they did ban Trump at some point. Like that's unthinkable. That could never happen again. Like, sorry, like, it just won't. I can't even imagine a scenario when a platform would ban Trump for, doing all of the things that are bannable offenses. It just wouldn't happen now. Wow, that sucks. I hate that. Okay, let's move on to the next tier up. This one is, again, we're still in the base. We're still in the sort of like primal food, water type of needs. This is so underrated, but I hope that we can convince you that this is like a deep and basic need. This shit cannot make sound.
The app cannot make a sound. I do feel like TikTok is offensive on a spiritual level, not because of just like social media, like what it is. It's just the fact that it makes sound and it's just videos of people looking at you. It seems very invasive to me. And like the fact that people love it makes me think like everyone would love to be in the Stanford prison experiment.
Yeah,
like,
either
they can't
side.
Wait. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I just want to be involved.
If your posting platform is capable of making sound, which it shouldn't be, it should only be because you took a discrete action to turn that sound on, and that action should be tedious. It should not be possible for the sound to be on and surprise you.
And the reason I know we're right is because the move even on TikTok is to have everything like the text be on the screen, because people will maybe sometimes watch it with the sound off on the bus or whatever. Uh-huh. So we're right. Like they are acknowledging this in their platform. It's part of the meta.
That said, Joe, as a person who's been on the bus, nobody is watching it on the bus without sound. They all got the sound on.
That's true. Yeah.
But they could. But yeah, no, this is why TikTok is not a place of honor for posters. It is a totally different thing. And I know that we have described, the 4 pillars very broadly. The joke being that any activity fits into one of the 4 if you look at it from a certain point of view and squint hard enough. The way we've described posting in the past is anytime you engage online, you put something online that didn't used to be there that's a post. I think TikTok is a new type of thing that sucks more. It's not posting. I do not think it's posting. And it is because that shit makes sound. And it has to make sound. And that's just, you can't be. You can't do that. You can't do. I'll never accept sound. Every once in a while, like I'm scrolling and I accidentally turn on sound and a fucking like whistling and ukulele song starts playing for an ad I'm scrolling by, and I jump 1,000 feet and my head comes through the roof and I'm sticking out with piano keys and fucking Tweety birds over my head, even though I didn't go through a piano. I just got piano keys in my mouth because I had head injury, and you get piano keys in your mouth and that happens. Because I'm so fucking startled by the sound and I hate it. Don't make sound.
Next up the pyramid, you can't make money on it. By which I mean revenue incentives cannot be built into it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you gain clout on posting and you turn it into money, it's because like you know how like the Yakuza like lets you gamble, but then like you get your pachinko tokens, and you go like around the corner, and then you exchange them for goodies, and it's like, this is all legit.
Yeah,
like that's what it has to be.
You have to convert your clout elsewhere. And so that's the funniest. If you aren't aware of this, folks, gambling is illegal in Japan, but casinos are everywhere. Huh? It's because the only thing you win in the casinos are worthless slabs that are totally made up and have no inherent value.
They're Yakuza dollars, and you can exchange them for cool things.
Yeah, if there just happens to be a store next door run by a guy with a back tattoo, and he says, if you give me some of those worthless slabs, I will give you some gifts for free. Well, then, how is the pachinko parlor supposed to prevent that? That's just, it's a free country, isn't it? That's how posting has to be. If the monetization is built into the posting platform,
if you can cash out at the casino, you're fucked. It's not good.
Guess what? You're not in the posting pillar anymore. You're at a job. That's your job.
That's a content mine.
Yeah.
And even if you're doing content mine stuff, but you're doing the pachinko tokens, the thing you have to understand is because you're doing it off the site, you are doing something with honor.
Yes.
Or actually, let me take that back. It's not something with honor. You are correctly identifying it as something shameful that must be done separately.
Mm-hmm, yes. And, well, that's a type of honor because you don't... To not take false honor in a dishonorable action in itself has there's a honesty to it, you know? Like like it used to be. You would make the shit my dad says account and it would blow up big. And you would, or you would be like the white people like account, and you would blow up big, and you'd get a book deal, or you'd get a terrible TV show. Like, yes, you go to the place next door, the fucking TV studio or the publishing company, and you would cash out your chips for real money. But, like, the point is you have to get chips.
On the app, you never got a notification that was like a TV deal is available for you to review.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes. You never get like, this is your payout. Because like, let's look at some fucking so-called social media sites that have monetization built in. YouTube used to be, in its beginnings, it was supposed to be a social network. It was supposed to be where you and your friends would post your little videos and be able to watch them. Now, again, you go on YouTube, and unless you really, 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 really work hard to find some like junk in the bottom of the drawer, every video on there is from someone whose job it is to be doing that.
Everything about YouTube and like its current state, like what's popular, how videos look, has a very, I guess, optimized feel. Everything just feels so polished, which is at ends with the initial sort of vision of it.
Yeah. And there are some people who are like make it their job and like make great stuff. But the meta is just like become an absolute freak and bow down and slave and kiss the toes of the fucking algorithm. Do whatever the meta demands, no matter what you'd like to do. And then you'll make more money. And that, again, that's the fucking thing. If there is an incentive, a 1-to-1, engagement to money incentive built into the app, like you have to be the worst guy on earth. Like you are an idiot if you are not if you could make money from getting big numbers. You are an idiot for not posting on the 30th of every month, low-key gay when a man eats dessert. Like, like you have to. Like it is the thing to do.
Yeah. Oh, and the other aspect of this, which is honestly just for protection, in my opinion, look, do not indulge in a site that pays out directly. But also, if you are getting paid directly by the platform, something can happen like what happens countless times before with YouTube, which is like, I'm a monetized site, and they decided this content is no longer cool, and your like sort of entire sort of structure is demonetized, and you're kind of fucked. You do not want to be in bed with the platform for that reason. Yes.
That's too much control over you. That's how you end up saying shit like unalive and PDF file. We are independent. Kill. Pedophile. I said them both. Like you don't want some rules which could change at any time dictating. And again, because it is your job. Your job is like what you do most of the time. And so, like, most of your life is being shaped by fucking some weird guy who works at the platform. I don't like that. You can't make money on it. This is a big need. This needs to be near the bottom.
Directly.
Yeah.
Pachinko style income, totally fine.
I mean that's what it's all about, really. I mean, especially if you're like a funny person, this is where you give away the treats for free, and then once they have a taste for your treats, you gesture to the fans to come to this little back room where we have real gambling. We don't do very well at that conversion part of the process. Join our Patreon. Let's do the next one. I think the next one up, and this is still to do with sort of safety, but it is less critical than, no sound and no Nazis, is that you're probably not going to get yelled at. Like, you probably aren't going to get yelled at.
I hate getting yelled at. That's one of the worst things that can happen on an app.
I'll say it. Getting yelled at, that's like one of my top 10 least favorite things that can happen to me. And you might be thinking, how is it different from Nazi site? I mean, Nazis yelling at you for being a fucking deranged lib. Like, yeah. I'm talking, like, yelling can happen irrespective of political ideology. For example, Tumblr is almost exclusively leftist queers. Are you going to tell me that there's never been someone getting yelled at on that site? That site is almost 100% getting yelled at. Getting yelled at. I think the phrase that you used, and it's not like you came up with this, but you you connected it to this, which was breaching containment.
Yeah. The current dynamic on Twitter, if you're on there still, is that if you're doing your normal thing and you still have an audience that you had before, what might happen is you do a post and then eventually it'll land outside of the intended audience. And then there's just people yelling at you. Just always.
Hate that.
So specifically here, what has to be happening is that, like, the act of getting a good post with some numbers does not punish you.
Yes, because, like, currently on Twitter, it is guaranteed. Like, if your post does numbers, this is even before Twitter got really bad. If your post starts doing numbers, you don't feel like, yes, my joke is working. It's just like, oh, no. Like, I remember for my birthday, I did a post where I did one of those, it's my birthday, but no one loves me because I'm poor AI photos. I did it in real. And I, like, wrote it out fucked up like it is in the AI, and it was funny. And I was like, oh, what a fun treat for my birthday. I'm doing some numbers. I'm like, oh, I don't like these numbers. These numbers don't follow with how many followers I have. It's impossible that I'm getting these numbers. Oh, no. And then I kept getting people who I didn't know telling me what they thought it would have been funnier if I'd included in the picture. And my day was ruined. The strangers being like, you should have had a huge shoe. And I'm like, kill yourself. Like, fuck. How would I have gotten a huge shoe, you motherfucker?
They don't understand that, like, the image wasn't generated by AI. It was simply in the style of. They were like, just tell the computer to give you a big shoe.
Thing is, I don't know, dude. Maybe they knew, but they're just like, you should have done that. And it's like, what do you mean? Like, what would that fucking mean? Like, what would that take? I hate that fucking shit. I call that getting yelled at, by the way. That counts as getting yelled at. Another one, the shit has to be free. This shit is free.
Gotta be free.
That's another thing that's fucking evil about Twitter now is, again, like, it's like, the whole thing is just the blue checks, and the blue checks is paid. Like, no, it's gotta be free.
No. Posting is warlock shit. You are using life tap. You are converting HP into MP.
Yeah, you
like,
pay.
You are paying. It's just not dollars.
Yes, you pay with blood for the machine. And so if you pay money, you're double paying.
And in the case of something like Twitter or X, where there's like a stupid premium feature, if you continue to use it for free, you would be using your soul. And then on top of that, paying real American dollars.
Yeah. It's no fucking good, dude. Also, like I said before about the pachinko one, I just feel like if money is involved in any way, then it ceases being posting. Like you do a phase shift and it becomes a job. Even if you're the one paying them, like it's just like money involved. Nope, that's a job. You're not posting anymore. You're at work, and that sucks. I don't want gross. I'm not doing that.
You know what it is? Posting? What do I think of when I think of posting? What is the image of posting? What evokes the spirit of posting? I'm thinking of two wild horses running in a clearing. And then if you pay money for it, you have put both of those magnificent beasts in front of a chariot and you're like hitting it.
Yuck. Yeah, that's a great analogy. I hate that. And I guess the final thing is on this topic, someone might be tempted hearing this to say something like, actually, if a service is free, you are the product. Joe, how would you respond to that?
Shut up, nerd.
Shut up. Fuck you. Don't care about that shit. I think that's the only proper way to just respond to some shit like that. Joe, what's the next tier of the posting pyramid?
This is very critical, and this might actually cause some gasps, but we're looking at this from like a ecological perspective. The platform must have guys who will correct your joke.
I know I just said I hate those guys and that I consider it a form of getting yelled at, but sometimes I'm fucking a dumb bitch, guys. Like I'm not always right, but this part is right. My take on this is if there aren't guys who will correct your joke, it's like when The Matrix was too good. It's like you just reject it.
Yeah, I'm reminded of those like birds that eat shit out of like the hippo's teeth, and the joke correctors are those birds. And would the hippo prefer to sit all day with their mouth open? Probably not. I don't know. But it's still valuable. It has impact to the system.
Yes. And you might say, what fucking value could there possibly be to that? That's terrible. Well, to me, the answer is simple and obvious. It makes you feel funnier.
Yeah, if you tell a joke and they're like, what if... I was going to say, like, what if his dick fell off? That would improve it.
No, no. Well, that's pursuant to our next point, but continue.
But yeah, it was just...
what if some shit that was way less funny got put in that joke, and it's just like... Ugh.
And then you get a little sense of satisfaction, which is like, I didn't think of that. Yeah. My brain did not do that.
Yeah. Or perhaps like, I thought of that, and I dismissed it as this is the first thought of a fool. I will continue cogitating, and no, now I have hit upon a great joke. And some of you might say, well, how do you define the difference between this type of thing, namely a guy who corrects your joke, a little disgusting gunk eater, like a bird who eats
and like banter, and like
how do you
riffs.
Differentiate between those kind of freaks and someone who posts like a good tag to a joke that is actually very funny and adds to it in a transformative way?
And here's the line: are we doing it? And if we're doing it, it's the good one. If we're not doing it, it sucks.
We're just so funny, and the thing about us is that when our friends or comedic colleagues make an incredible joke, we have incredible minds that see into the fourth dimension and see different branches that the joke could take, and we pick the most goodest one that doesn't overshadow the joke, but in fact expands it into a different direction. And that's why when we do it, it's really good.
And if it seems like we didn't pick the actual best joke out of the multiverse of options, you didn't see behind the veil, okay? You don't know what's back there.
Yeah, watch Dune. It's really it's a big burden to see all the paths. And sometimes the golden path seems rough, but it's the right one. So fuck you and trust us. Another one that, this is a big need. I tell you right now that aside from those first two, this order is totally random. But the next one, if you want to be posting and have a good time posting and have a pleasant posting experience, there needs to be freaks, but they're not too scary.
You got to have freaks who aren't scary. I think we're a big fan of Joyce Carol Oates. Not like her writing, which is fine. Nothing against it, but we're just really big fans of her posting and her keyboard, which is fucked. She once posted a picture of it, and I vomited for months.
It's like scarier than most Halloween beasts.
Yes. Okay, so that's a great example. It's like I should not ever really get to understand that a famous author has like a weird Halloween hang-up that she finds is disrespectful.
I didn't even think. Yes.
And Twitter allows me to not just see it, but see it as a reoccurring theme, okay? It's just like every year, I don't know if she's on Twitter anymore because it sucks, but like I fucking love it. She will post pictures of like skeletons in the neighborhood like, you know, during Halloween times, and it's just like, this is so disrespectful.
It's so clear these people have never experienced the death of someone close to them. Otherwise, they would never think this was a good thing to do. Never. It's impossible.
So yes, I shouldn't know this hang up, but like, this is what I mean by a freak that isn't scary. It's good. And the fact that it's a famous person is secondary. It certainly juices it, but to be clear, they do not need to be like verified freaks.
Yeah,
you can have randos.
Yeah, the horse whisperer, he was just some fucking guy. He was a freak. Yashar Ali, he's a freak. And you know, it used to be that like there was the whole thing about the main character of Twitter. That doesn't really happen so much anymore because the main character is a faceless mass of Nazis. But it used to be that like every day there'd be a new freak you'd never heard of to look at. And if you have no freaks, you end up with something like Truth Social or any of the, you know, millions of like all Nazi, no non-Nazi allowed social media platforms. Those become stagnant because they're based on an ideology that requires rigid conformity. So
they also need to dunk on libs and stuff, and they're not there anymore. So that you only see yourself.
Yes,
and then the feeling is like, oh, this sucks for that reason.
Yeah, it's boring because like everyone's the same. Everyone has the same thoughts. And we don't have any freaks to yell at. So you need some freaks, otherwise you end up with something totally stagnant. But these freaks can't be too scary because when the freaks get scary, they become Nazis. And as you know from Tier 2, you can't have a Nazi site.
This is another sort of ecological concern. I am not talking about this in like terms of absolute value for this type of content, but just sort of like what it does for posting at large. And you can put a little bit of porno on there.
You need to put porno. Porno needs to be allowed.
Just a little bit of porno. And not because I like it or want to see it. It's just, I know when Yahoo bought Tumblr, the first thing they did was like, look at all of this content. Wowzers. The first thing we got to do is get rid of all this porn. And then they lost all their money in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I think the reason is just not for like looking at it, but if it's like floating around, no one can get a sense that like they're doing something important.
Yes. Okay. And oh my god, I fucking made this. This is a genius connect. I love when I make a connection in real time because so much of this podcast is just us reading our notes out loud like we just thought of it, but we didn't. We're reading it like we're actors. This one's real. How many times have I talked about, you bring money into it, becomes work. It stops being posting, it becomes work. Porno, literally, what do they call porno? What is the fucking label they put on porno? Not safe for work. If there's porno on there, it's always going to stay posting. And you're going to say, what about sex work? And I say, hush, 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 shut up. That's different. It's work, but
it's
like,
not us for us to untangle right now. Shut up.
But like, if there's no porno allowed, it's not like I'm like, but I want to jack. Like, it's because like if no porno is allowed, that is a symptom of an underlying tendency to do bullshit, to introduce fucking rules. We're talking about it sucks to be on a social network where it's your job and your livelihood is based on like, I sure hope they don't change the rules, which they have to, because otherwise they would fire the team that made the rules up. So they always have to have a project in the pipeline. And again, if you know that porno ain't allowed, you know, like, okay, so we have a restrictive junta at the top of this organization that's gonna like come up with, there's more rules coming. And that is going to inhibit your posting mana because you will always have that fear that, like, what's going to be banned next. Got to have some porno on there.
Just a little bit of porno.
They just got to let you put a little porno. I mean, like, it's not going to be like, I'm not talking about, like, every single social network has got to be, like, RedTube. But, like, if you post a pair of huge titties, like, you shouldn't get banned.
That should be fine.
Yeah.
I do not approve of it, but I don't, like, wish ill on you.
Yeah, like, you don't like it if, like, there's a centipede wiggling across your floor, but I bet you would hate silverfish even more, and the centipedes eat those, so. Next one, you gotta have quote tweets. Look at the freak. I mean, we talked about there's gotta be freaks, and, like, what do you do with the freak? You quote tweet them.
Honestly, it's insane to me that, like, Twitter launched without quote tweeting. It seems so basic to, like, the whole platform and type of communication because it's for you to hold up, look at this bug I caught in this jar. Everyone gawk at it. Like, that's what the function. And frankly, I'm amazed you could even do posts without quoting someone.
I mean, like, dude, I'm trying to, like, cast my mind back. I don't think I ever used Twitter or was even really aware of Twitter during the time when quote tweets were not part of it. Every single thing, even when I, like, didn't use it but sort of knew, like, oh, I know the basic thing about Twitter is where you quote tweet freaks. That's wild. And to me, it'd be the same as if a zoo opened up, but, like, all the enclosures, like, had no glass. It's just like the animals are in there and we're taking care of them. It's like, you can't look at them. It's insane. Like, you need to have quote tweets. I'm sorry. That's the whole point of the whole game. You find the freak, you quote tweet them. And also, this is a perfect, like, we talked about you need to have people adding to the joke. That's kind of what a quote tweet is. You find a freak. The freak's existence is in itself a joke because it's so funny. And then you add to it with your little quote.
And you go to see quoted replies, and it's Dunk City.
Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
This next one should probably be, like, pretty close to the top of the pyramid, actually. But I love it, so
yeah, we're doing the episode. We do what we want, and we want to talk about this now. What is it?
You should be able to see all of the replies, the original poster blocked or hid. Like, you should see what they didn't like. That's so important. It's so fucking funny.
So, like, our entire posting career has been us complaining about the new change Twitter's implemented that's made it way worse. The one thing that they added in our careers that was, like,
the good post button. It's like, you want to see the shit that affected their day. Like, they read this at lunch and they changed their behavior as a result.
And, like, oh my, Joe, when I see a freak and I go to the replies and the first thing I see is that picture of Squidward in the crow's nest pointing with an insane ferocity, and someone has put in the corner of the image where he's pointing the little see replies hidden by original poster button, I'm just like, oh yes, because, like, again, it's like the whole point of reading the replies to a freak post is, like, I want to see someone beat the freak. I want to see the freak get hit in the face and his teeth fly out. And the hidden replies is basically like, these ones are the ones that guaranteed get critical hits. Like, you know, he took time out of his day to
you cannot make these posts without full meter.
Yes.
These are the real deals.
It's like, imagine in, like, a fighting game tournament, the finals, and, like, someone gets, like, a super move off. It's like, oh my god, those are impossible to get off. And the other guy wasn't even blocking. Oh my god, this is incredible. Like, that's this. And, like, and again, oh god, I forget what, I think it was a Reno 911. One of the fucking only things I know about Reno 911, because I've seen maybe 15 minutes of it in my life. But
it's good. It's the state again.
But they were, like, there was only, like, a certain amount of tickets to see an execution, and all the cops were like, oh my god, I gotta get those. And one of them was doing a like to the camera confessional style, just explaining why everyone wanted the ticket to the execution. And he said, going to an execution is like going to a NASCAR race, and you know Jeff Gordon is going to crash.
Fuck.
And like, that's that button, dude. That's what that is. This next one, this is very important to me personally. It's got to be so that when you post a link, you do not get shadow banned.
Yeah, so Twitter kind of does this. I know complaining about shadow banning is like a 60s boomer, by which you mean a 60-year-old boomer sitting in his car with his aviators complaining about posting type thing.
And generally it's fake, but
like any outgoing links are suppressed for a reason. And like, I get why. I don't think it's good, but like if your approach to this is the most zero-sum selfish approach, then yes, every time someone leaves the website, that is an attack on you. However, that doesn't seem like why the web exists. So the web is for clicking around, and links are for clicking.
Also, I mean, like if you don't have the ability to like post links and shit, you are like retroactively turning off that need we mentioned earlier, specifically like you can't be making money off this. I guess it's they're not 100% related, but you see the connection here where like the whole point of you can't make money on this is like, well, the way you get around that is you can take your clout and you can exchange it for real money elsewhere. You have to go through a conversion process and say, oh, I don't know, our conversion process is like listen to our podcast and patronize our podcast. Well, if you ever post a link to that podcast, you get fucking sent to double hell. You get sent to ultra super fucking hell. If you, for example, were doing a live show that happened Monday of this week, at the time of release, the time of recording, we haven't done it yet, and I sure hope it goes well. But if you want people to go to that, and so you post a link, that shit's not gonna, no one's gonna see it, and like it sucks. It sucks.
The next very important need. You can yell at celebs and they get mad in real life. Tom, earlier you said that our most viral piece of content was something on Tumblr, but you're like, Tumblr isn't real. And the reason Tumblr isn't real is because like Shaq isn't verified on there. Do you understand? Like the verification of celebs, which means you can make them angry and ruin their day, which is itself fun. But it like makes things real.
Yes.
Twitter's real because, or it was real because like those were the real verified people that gave the platform juice that the other platforms don't have. You had irrefutable proof when you got those notifications with the blue checks next to them. Like, okay, Michael Ian Black really did get mad about that. Like he, yeah, he did. He got upset, and then now the verified likes tab is just like, here's some scum.
Yeah. I mean, like, the last gasp was when they first rolled out the fake blue checks, or the paid blue checks, I should say. And there was the guy who became Eli Lilly and said insulin is now free with a blue check next to it. And it changed the stock market because they thought it was real. Like, that was so funny, and I'm glad it happened. And I think it's one of those things that had to happen. Like, someone was going to do it. In the same way that, like, multiple people invented the telephone at, like, in the same month. It's just, like, the universe had to have this happen now. And whoever got to it first just gets to it by dumb luck. It's going to happen. And, but, like, you couldn't do that if you bought a blue check and you made your account be Eli Lilly and was like, insulin's free. No one would buy it because now the blue check is like fucking nothing. Like, everyone knows, well, this isn't real. Like, the blue check doesn't mean anything. And it used to be so fun because, like, I don't know.
It was woven into reality differently.
Yes, yeah. Like, imagine if when verification was real, when you knew that it was really that guy, it guaranteed that you wouldn't waste your time. I'm not going to say that you couldn't waste your time in the sense that, like, I want to get Richard Karn to cry. I'm
but
going to...
if you spend all night trying to do that, it was a correctly targeted effort.
Yes, and now it's just like, just because this says Richard Karn and has a blue check and has a picture of Richard Karn,
that should be the ball game. That should be everything you need to know.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, no,
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah. I mean, and also, even disregarding verification, which of course is critical here, but let's pretend it's not. There needs to be celebs on the platform. Again, this is something from like co-host. Like, I don't think Lin-Manuel was on co-host, so I couldn't like tell him that his raps were corny because he just wasn't there. Like, there need to be celebs on there to yell at. And I mean, obviously, having a verification process that's actually real makes it a lot more realistic to be able to yell at them and get them mad in real life. But if they're not there, period, no verification system in the world is going to make this matter, you know?
Yeah.
Next tier up, this is very similar to, there needs to be the celebs there, is Drill's on there. Drill's got to be there. Like, you got to have Drill on there.
He's got to be on there. Where he is a bellwether for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all there is to it.
Yeah, like the fact that we are making an effort to become Blue Sky users and migrate over there, in large part, the reason that this is even a possibility, this is a move that we have any juice and momentum for, is because Drill's on there. And it's like, well,
yeah, I believe it's possible if he's here.
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess a better way would be like, oh, your friends and like people you like to follow are on there. But I guess that's just a shorthand for Drill's on there. Like, if Drill's on there, the other funny people who you like are going to be there too. Where he goes, the good people follow. Case in point, we follow. So, fucking QED, bitch.
Getting to the top of the pyramid here, we got a feature, kind of newish, but I now understand the importance of, after having used Twitter for a while with it, and that's bookmarks.
Bookmarks
are okay. So I like I don't actually use them. What I like bookmarks for is that you can look at a post and you could see that, like, based on context, either this is X number of people are going to come back to this, or come back to this and jack off.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about, in addition to bookmarks, period, but bookmark, like, showing the number of bookmarks. Which, I'm gonna assume those two things are wrapped up together. I'm considering them the same thing because you've made a great point here, which is, it is very like, Elon. Almost everything Elon has done to Twitter has been to its incredible detriment, and a lot of the way he's handled metrics and how metrics are shown is truly idiotic. But showing public bookmark counts, I gotta hand him that one. It is so fucking funny.
You can look at something and be like, look, people are really jacking it to this.
It's like, oh, this is like a normal photo of a woman wearing like outside clothes. Oh my, that didn't stop these 3,000 people though. I love it. And also, just for me as someone who would do posting episodes back when Twitter was usable, it's so good to, like, when you encounter a post where it's like, oh, I gotta say this shit on the fucking podcast, to just press a little button and then, every couple months look at your bookmarks tab and be like, do I have enough fucking freaks trapped in jars for me to do show and tell for on the podcast? And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I do.
Your bookmarks are like your rabbit snares that you check.
Yes.
You're like, let's see, do I have enough for a stew? Yeah,
because I just like see something and I'm like, that's funny, and I bookmark and I don't think of it anymore. It used to be like, if I would either have to like open whatever, planning tool we were using at the time and like copy and paste the link, and that's difficult. It's like I have to open a tab and or like be like, remember this, remember this, and then of course I don't. But like, there's just a button. I'm like, boop, and then later I'm like, let me see the freaks. Oh my god, look at this! I've like cultivated an incredible menu of delicious treats to choose from for our fucking podcast, and it's fun. I like that. It makes it a lot easier. I will say, as much as we've sort of praised this, the fact that it is so high, I guess I was gonna say like it's up high here so high just because we didn't fucking care enough about it to talk about it before. But then isn't that good? Like the things at the bottom are really the most important, and then the things at the top, the very top, like the absolutely tip of the pyramid, like that one's important. But like the other stuff is just sort of nice to have. So actually, I think this is in the proper place. Oh shit, I say proper, and I realized we almost forgot to read one. And I think that this actually does deserve to be second to the top. You have to have proper dopamine accounting. This sort of goes with like the fucking number of bookmarks being a hilarious measure of how much cum was spilled over this post. That's dopamine accounting.
That's proper accounting. Right now in Blue Sky, if 20 people like your post, you get 20 notifications.
Wrong.
That's one notification. That is one notification. That is an example of fraudulent dopamine accounting. And I get why they're doing it, because like you're starting out a new account and I like saw 20 once and I was like, holy shit, I'm cooking. But I felt like it was a lie, because it was.
It is. Dude, because if you have a post and it goes big and gets no replies, it's just getting retweeted and liked. In my view, the maximum
one.
Yes, you get 1 for retweets, 1 for likes. Maximum 2 notifications for a given post, unless you get a reply. Jesus Christ! And also, this is another thing, and this sucks both for dopamine accounting and also because you miss people who want to talk to you and have things that are sort of time sensitive. On Twitter right now, notifications for getting messages, it just doesn't work. It just like that's not fraudulent. That is just like broken.
It's been like that for a while for me. I don't know if that's just my issue, but like basically I assume that the messages notification like little badge is wrong 100% of the time, and it like pans out that way.
Yeah, for real. Every once in a while I click the messages button by accident, and I'm shocked to see that like there's someone asking me if I want to hang out tomorrow, and I'm like, hell yeah, I do. And they're like, that was last week, homie. And I'm like, oh no. No. And the other thing about proper dopamine accounting is that when we say proper, we don't just mean like the numbers are tallied correctly. 5 likes is 1 notification. But also like the accounting is for me. It needs to be public. You cannot hide these numbers and just keep them in a database for your own purposes platform. The reason being, the point, especially on other people's posts, the reason I need to see that accounting is so that I can recognize a ratio, because those are very funny.
Oh, yes. Like, you need power scaling. I'm sorry. Power scaling is important to the plot.
Yes, dude. Like, when you see someone who has like 100,000 followers, you're like, oh my God, that guy is so strong. He knows techniques. And then their post gets like 50 likes. You're like, oh my. It's one of the funniest things you can see all day. It's just like something went way wrong. Like, like what is happening here? Oh God. And just like, it sort of goes with what we were talking about before. With like you need to be able to know that you're making the celebs mad in real life. Everyone talks about like, oh, the internet, you never know what's real on the internet. Oh, don't trust what you see. And of course, the people who told us that trust everything they see on the internet, and they believe the Democrats have a hurricane gun that causes hurricanes, which is ridiculous because they spent all their R&D money on the heart attack gun that got Bernie Sanders. They don't have money for a hurricane gun. They can't invent both. But like, when everything is so sort of abstract and up in the air and in the cloud, so to speak, you need hard data to prove things. You need to, I can prove that your post sucks ass and this reply telling you to kill yourself is much better because I'm looking at the data and it bears out that people do want you to do that to yourself. You see what I'm getting at? Proper accounting.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, I think we're at the end. There's one more. This is the tip of the pyramid. This is self-actualization. This is like what, if everything is perfect about a social media platform and posting in general, this is the thing that takes it from, again, near perfect to perfect. What is it?
I'm popular.
We're popular. I'm popular. Anime Sickos podcast.
Yeah, whatever. Me, the podcast, us, whatever. The important thing is we're popular.
We're popular. Everyone loves us. Yeah.
They have to invent new numbers because that's how much money we're raking in.
Yeah. It got to be popular. It's got to be us. Who is popular? People got to be listening to the podcast, buying our shirt. To me, this is just like what it's all. It's what it's all for. All right, that's all.
In some way, the pyramid is upside down with we're popular, balancing the whole thing on the little tiny tip.
Hell yeah, and a giant made it thus. That's all the time we have for Anime Sickos. I hope you liked our funny pyramid. I feel like this was a good one. I mean, they're all good. This wasn't especially good. Do you think so? I feel like I have fun. More fun than usual. I always have fun, but you know what I mean.
I love talking about freaks.
I mean, I really hope we can come across some real fucking, like, deformed types on
I saw
Blue
one
Sky.
today. It was not on Blue Sky. It was on Twitter. But it was a guy who had a PhD because it was in his display name. And it was like, as a father, he was like, okay, wait. If your kid is like an advanced reader and you have them reading books ahead of time, they just run out all the books to read ahead of time. That fucking sucks.
Oh my God, yes, I saw that guy. He's just like, if your kid's a voracious reader, they will simply read all of the worthwhile books, and then you're going to have a disappointed kid.
And like the thing about that is, that guy has a PhD and clearly has no like theory of the mind, like at all.
I love it.
The guy with the highest level of schooling so clearly hates reading and information.
It's beautiful. That's so good. I got to play for you. You talking about this reminded me. Oh, there is a bookmark I have. Oh shit. Is this going to just be a mini posting? I'm going to read two bookmarks that I have because they're very fucking funny. So, this is from, remember Joe Biden? Remember him? He can't fucking like talk. And this is a video from him from September 14th of this year.
The beer brewed here, it is used to make the brew beer in this refinery. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes.
That man's fucking dead. That's a dead guy.
Ooh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes. They do make the brew beer here. Holy shit. This was when they were like, we will never, Biden forever. We will never make Biden step down. Asking Biden to step down. I forget even what the justification was, but there was like a big push that like, if you ask Biden to step down, you hate black women. It's like, what are you fucking
There was some of that.
About?
Yeah.
I didn't like, whatever. And then this one is from Jake Flores, who is a guy who, as far as I can understand, he exists to be a sort of like humiliation sponge. Every time I see him around, everyone is telling him to shut up. And man, oh man, did he really hit it out of the park with this one. I watched Terrifier 3 last night. And the thing is, I've seen so much gore coming out of Gaza lately that the movie kind of didn't shock me.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, what do you like? Congrats! Like, this is pure suffering fruit. It's just like, hey, everybody, I just want you to know that I have borne witness to a lot of the suffering. Please clap. Like, jeez, ugh.
And I'll have you know, I can't enjoy my horror movie. I ordered Hawaiian food. I'm gonna go eat that.
Hawaiian? Wait, whoa. I want to eat that shit. Well, not yours, but in general. Anyway, that's all the time we have for Anime Sickos. I'm Tom, an Anime Sicko.
I'm Joe, an Anime Sicko.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at Sharia Uncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.